N.O.V.A Neo-Orbit Vanguard Alliance is a game that'll leave you bored because of how bland and bare bones it feels compared to other games of its genre. In N.O.V.A, you take the role of Captain Cal Warden, a retired space marine who gets sent out on a mission to investigate a missing military cargo ship the second he's abruptly forced out of retirement back into active duty against his will. Upon arrival on the missing military cargo ship, it doesn't take long for Cal to find out that a race of aliens called Xenos have taken over the cargo ship and have killed nearly everyone aboard, which kicks off Cal Warden's journey to save the very existence of humanity from the Xeno threat. N.O.V.A Neo-Orbit Vanguard Alliance is a first-person shooter that takes heavy inspiration from the Halo series, from the enemy design and the settings of the game, to even the game's name itself. The game originally came out for iOS in 2009, though the version I have is the PS Mini version that released on the PSN store in 2010, which is playable on the PS3, PSP and PS Vita. In N.O.V.A, you'll take control of Cal Warden as you fight your way through hordes of Xeno aliens throughout a campaign that'll take you from a military cargo ship in an underground bunker to a frozen tundra and a celestial alien city. The PS Mini version of N.O.V.A controls okay for the most part, though the controls do take some getting used to. Since PS Mini games were designed mainly with the PSP in mind, and since the PSP lacks the right analog stick, you'll be using the face buttons to look around and aim, though the game does have a reliable lock-on feature, which helps to negate any aiming issues, though if you're playing this on the PS Vita, you can map the face buttons to the Vita's right analog stick. Aside from aiming with the face buttons, you'll use the left trigger to jump, right trigger to shoot, and you'll use the directional buttons to reload, switch weapons, and throw grenades, and use a paralyze ability that temporarily freezes enemies, which helps when combat gets a bit hectic, though using this ability will cost you some of your health. N.O.V.A's campaign consists of 13 levels, although a few of those levels are just one level split into two. For the most part in these levels, you'll be shooting your way through aliens as you make your way from point A to point B, while following basic objectives, like hacking consoles to open doors, and advancing to the next area in a level. The combat itself is pretty basic as you can get with first-person shooters. You've got a standard assortment of weapons like shotguns, pistols, and assault rifles, and you shoot the aliens to kill them. No surprise there. If you ever run out of ammo, then you can grab ammo packs dropped by dead enemies, or by hacking ammo crates. Hacking ammo crates requires you to play a simple minigame where you guide a white laser to complete a circuit by placing mirrors that'll reflect it. They don't take too long to do, and they give you plenty of ammo, and they're mostly optional, so you don't have to go out of your way to hack every single ammo crate that you come across. Playing N.O.V.A becomes boring relatively quickly, as for most of the game all you are doing is just navigating through levels and gunning down aliens in your path, and the enemy variety is pretty small. By the second or third level, you'll already have faced almost every enemy type in the game, which means for most of the game you'll be fighting the same 4 alien types over and over again, with new alien types only appearing in the last few levels. Aside from the regular gunplay, the game contains turret sections, set pieces, and basic platforming sections to spice things up, but these moments don't do much to break down the monotony of the basic gunplay, since there's not that many of them, and they're too few and far between. N.O.V.A just feels like a really basic bare bones first person shooter that lacks identity. It doesn't do anything special, and it lacks the thrill and spectacle that you'd expect to see in more modern first person shooters like the single player campaigns of the Call of Duty games. N.O.V.A doesn't do anything all that unique to make it stand out from the other games of its genre, and it sure doesn't help itself that the game borrows its elements heavily from the Halo series. Oh, and also, the load times. The load times are just terrible. The load times take about as long as a Sonic 06 loading screen, and the loading screens are very frequent, as throughout almost every level there's several points where the game will abruptly stop you in your tracks to load the next section of the level, which means every couple of minutes you'll be stopped dead in your tracks, waiting for the game to load. Why it does this on a game that's only 88 megabytes in size, I have no idea. Outside of the main game, there are medals that you can unlock which are basically the game's equivalent to achievements, and also upon beating the game, you'll unlock the game's hard difficulty, which honestly isn't even that hard since I've beaten the game on hard mode twice already, without much problem. Also, the original iPhone release of the game had online multiplayer, which the PS Mini version lacks, though I'd imagine the servers for a decade-old mobile game would have already been shut down long ago now. Graphically speaking, as a game intended for the PSP, N.O.V.A looks alright for the most part, though it's far from the best that the PSP has to offer in terms of visuals, and a lot of the textures look stretched in very low quality. I don't have much to say about the game's soundtrack, as most of the music pieces that played whilst I was playing the game just felt unremarkable and didn't stick with me, and quite a number of the music in the game got a bit repetitive as they just loop over and over again. Overall, N.O.V.A. Neo-Orbit Vanguard Alliance is just a meh experience. It's not a bad game, just a very bland one that will quickly bore you with how bare bones and basic the game feels to play, and with long and frequent load times to boot too. In the end, N.O.V.A. Neo-Orbit Vanguard Alliance is nothing more than a basic bare bones copy of Halo.